Hello, dear Hooniverse viewers. Some of you might be trapped in cold portions of the country. I'm not. I live in Southern California, and I get to drive cool cars. Today's cool car is a 2014 Aston Martin Vanquish Volante. Volante means convertible in some made-up language. Vanquish means beautiful V12 in any language. Let's dive into this car, and first we're going to take a walk around because this one-off paint is absolutely gorgeous under the bright California sun. So let's take a look at the skin of this car. We've got big 20-inch wheels front and back, and these are good-looking wheels with the multi-spokes. They're wrapped in Pirelli P0 tires. Up front, you've got the big carbon fiber splitter. The hood is carbon fiber. The trunk is completely carbon fiber. You've got these mirror stems that are carbon fiber. The side sills are carbon fiber. There's carbon fiber all over this Vanquish, and that's good because it's gonna help it keep the weight down a little bit, but not a lot. This is a big Aston Martin. It's a Grand Tourer. It's convertible. This car weighs 4,150 pounds. That's a lot. And it's no wonder this car isn't 0 to 60 in the 3-second range. It's around 4.2 seconds, even with that 6-liter V12 under the hood. But forget all that for a second, because just soak this in. This is a one-off paint called Red Ember because this car has some Q design features. It's got gold badges front and rear, which actually look really great with this color combination and the carbon fiber. The only thing I'm not in love with on the outside is this top color. I don't know if the blue's working for me, but the interior's working. It's this beautiful baseball glove looking leather that works great with both the blue and the red. So if we could figure out this color, we'd have the rest of the car nailed. Under the bonnet, or hood as we call it here, sits the 5.9 liter rounded up to 6 liter V12 engine. Makes 565 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. And it was hand-built by a man named Mick Freeman. Good job, Mick. Some of you out there might be saying, well, that's not as much as AMG Benz's with a V8 engine, even though that's a little bit bigger V8. And you're right, those engines make more power, more torque. But this one makes delightful noise, and it's enough to propel this at a comfortable pace for a 4,000-pound car. You can get going very quickly. You can get up to illegal speeds very quickly. Not that we do that ever. But it's also a damn good engine to look at. You know, you've got a lot going on here. They didn't hide it. It's sitting up front. It's a little far forward in the nose, but you don't really feel it too much out there, which is a very good thing in a car like this. But it also, besides the power, besides the noise, it suits the car. It's an Aston Martin with the V12. That's what you want. So what are we dealing with here? Well, we're dealing with an Aston Martin Vanquish Volante, which means it's a big V12-powered Aston Martin. You've already seen the engine. It's that 6-liter lovely unit mounted under the bonnet, and it provides 565 horsepower to the rear wheels. It does this via a 6-speed, paddle-shiftable, automated manual gearbox, and it's one of the better gearboxes that Aston Martin does because they don't do their manual anymore. Their other versions of this sport shift gearbox don't seem to work as well, but they figured it out here in the Vanquish finally, and they're learning more and more from their GT3 race cars, so the ones across the lineup are only going to get better and better. And that's a very good thing, because if you own an Aston Martin, you should occasionally drive it spiritedly, or all the time really, because you can do this, which is fun. The noise is fun, the smiles it creates are fun. You know, you just have a blast with a car like this. It's got a lot going on. It's got that big engine, which I keep mentioning. It's got flawless looks. It's one of the best looking cars on the planet. With the top down from the profile, this car is unbelievably, stunningly gorgeous. It's in a category of cars that few can hope to be in someday. We're talking about Jaguar E-Type, F-Type. We're talking about certain Ferraris. This is up there. It's just a work of art that happens to be a grand touring beast of a machine that, while you'll be comfortable hauling ass to Vegas, you'll also be comfortable manhandling it on your favorite canyon road. I am not on the Hooniverse Highway hooting ground of Ortega Highway today. I've actually come all the way up to Angeles Crest to really explore the space. That's what we're doing with this car today. We're exploring the space. How much does a car like this cost, though? That's an important question. This car's $300,000. It's actually not an important question because you can either afford it or you can't. You don't make a decision, am I going to buy that one or that one? You just go, I'm going to add this one to my existing collection of cars. So it's hard to fathom the mindset of the person who can buy a car like this because it's the 1% who can do it. And if they do it, they spent their money wisely. Aston Martin has stepped it up a notch when it comes to the interior of their car here with the Vanquish. I'm waiting for this to translate to the Rapide and the Vantage because those still have that old system, whereas this has the new 177 inspired center stack, and it's a joy. It's a revelation compared to the Aston centerpieces that, well, still exist in the rest of the family. The haptic feedback buttons work. It pairs to my phone quickly. It plays music through Bluetooth and USB. It's just so much better than the other system, and I really hope it translates to the rest of the lineup. If it doesn't, it's insane, so I just have to imagine that it has to. Further, these seats are wonderful. The quilted honeycomb look looks good, but it also feels really comfortable. You could spend hours behind the wheel of this car, and I plan to for as long as I have it, because what are you going to do with a car like this? Leave it sitting in your driveway? No, you're going to drive it. More 177 features. This steering wheel is inspired by that car. It's a squared off shape that looks pretty cool, though my one knock against it is I had to try to find the horn twice because people try to hit my Aston Martin, but it's up here on the button, which is actually kind of cool, and you won't accidentally press it because it needs some pressure. So that's good. It's got that going for it, which is nice. To say that a day spent carving LA Canyon roads is a good day is an understatement. That's like saying the Aston Martin Vanquish Volante is a good car. That's an understatement, because this is a hell of a car, and I've had a hell of a day driving this thing through some of LA's best roads. We're back by the beach though, because that's where you really enjoy a car like this. It is a grand tourer in the most grand sense of that term. It's comfortable, but you can firm it up and make the suspension stiff by popping it into track mode. You can push the sport button and open up the exhaust note. The steering is nice and light, not too heavy, and the seats are wonderful. They're bolstered, they're comfortable, they're supportive, and now the electronics in the car work. This is the complete package. There's a reason it's expensive, $300,000. That's an insane number for most people. Even people who can afford this, some might scoff at that unless they're true enthusiasts. And if they are true enthusiasts, they're getting something special here. It's a B.